Welcome to Signature TV News. I'm Charles Pius. In the headlines, world attention focuses on the plight of the boy child. Convicted billionaire kidnapper Evans opts for plea bargain. Emirates airline returns to Nigeria in 5 months. Russia and China deepen nuclear energy cooperation. The news in detail. Thursday, the 16th of May, is observed all over the world as the International Day of the Boy Child. The day is dedicated every year by the whole world for focusing attention on boys and their well-being. The theme for this year is Cool Boys, teaching boys how to manage anger and aggression. Signature TV correspondent Clinton Okolo has the report.
The day is set aside to highlight the challenges and pressures faced by boys in different regions and cultures. These include educational disparities, mental health, and societal expectations that affect boys. Perhaps unlike the International Day of the Girl Child, which is marked October 11th of each year, and greater attention paid to it, the International Day of the Boy Child is hardly known to many people. This may appear as a gender imbalance skewed against the male child. In today's society, the boys are taught to mask their pains as their tears must not be seen, because showing their pains is a sign of weakness. They are taught to be tough as boys don't cry, so they end up bottling their emotions.
I feel like there are positive ways in which you can show your emotions, but then as a man, waking up in the morning and crying to your family that there is no money, it should not be it. Yes, there are other ways in which you can express your worries or doubts that are very healthy, and it's normal as a human being, but then as a male child you have to be strong. That's what I think personally.
A school teacher and mother captures the role a boy child should play in the family.
As the mother of a boy child, I will advise all mothers out there, don't differentiate house chores. Don't say because you are a boy, you won't wash plates, or you won't sweep, or you won't wash the toilet. Allow him to do everything, because that is how you bring up a good husband. If you are a girl, I will ask you to do the girls' chores and also the boys' chores. And if you are a boy, do both. I won't say because you are a girl, you won't go and buy me fuel. You will go and buy me fuel. What about if I don't have a boy child? So you mean I can't send my girl child to go and buy me fuel? They should do everything because they don't know where they will find themselves in the society.
The boys as future leaders add their voice on what they hope to be in life.
I would like to make them happy through helping them in the house chores and let them be proud of me in future by being a professor.
I feel happy being a boy.
Happy International Boys Child's Day.
As the world attention is focused on the boy child, it is disturbing to see young boys who should be in school, hawking on the streets, engaged in child labor, or perhaps just roaming aimlessly on the streets. Time has come for parents, teachers, civil society organizations, all levels of government and other stakeholders to speak out against the unfair treatment and growing neglect of the boy child. From Enugu, Clinton Okolo for Signature TV.
The convicted billionaire kidnap kingpin, Chukwudumeme Wamadike, alias Evans, facing attempted murder, has approached the Lagos State High Court in Ikeja for settlement. Evans, alongside his co-defendant Joseph Emeka, facing murder and attempted kidnap, has opted for the option of a plea bargain. The state's prosecution counsel, Mr. Yusuf Sule, informed the court on Thursday about the plea bargain option after the case was called for the rearrangement of Evans before Justice Adenike Coker. Evans and his co-defendants are to be rearranged on an amended 5 counts bordering on murder, attempt to murder, and conspiracy to commit felony to wit, kidnapping and attempts to murder. Sule informed the court that the terms of the plea bargain terms were being considered by the Attorney General of Lagos State, Mr. Lawal Pedro. The organized labor on Monday walked out of the ongoing minimum wage negotiations with the federal government and the organized private sector. The labor unions comprising the Nigerian Labour Congress (NLC) and the Trade Union Congress (TUC) were angered over a government proposal to peg the new minimum wage at 48,000 naira, describing the offer as ridiculous. The NLC president, Joe Ajero, explained that the government is not serious about negotiating with the labor on the new minimum wage, saying the federal government does not have the necessary data to negotiate with labor. Ajero maintained that government and organized private sector have till the end of the month to arrive at a decision, following which labor will take a decision. A joint statement signed by Ajero and Tommy Okon, who represented the TUC after the meeting, observed that the 48,000 naira as the minimum wage does not only insult the sensibilities of Nigerian workers, but also falls significantly short of meeting the needs and aspirations of Nigerians. The statements observed that even the 54,000 naira proposed by the organized private sector is less than the 78,000 naira which the least paid worker in the private sector receives at the moment, accusing employers and government of unwillingness to faithfully negotiate a fair national minimum wage for workers in Nigeria. The NLC and the TUC had proposed that the federal government should pay Nigerian workers 615,000 naira minimum wage, citing high cost of living as the yardstick for the proposal. Meanwhile, a veteran journalist and public servant, Godwin Gume, wants the federal government and the organized labor to return to the negotiating table for the resolution of the impasse over a new national minimum wage. Speaking to Signature TV News correspondent Justice Ama in his office, Ume said such disputes between labor and government are better resolved on a round table.
I believe that the deadlock between the Nigerian Labour Congress, the TUC, and the federal government is not the end of the discussion. The door, I believe, is still open. The trio, as the three groups, should go back to the drawing table, discuss and reach a compromise. Because Labour says they want 615,000 naira as the minimum wage, and the federal government said 48,000 naira, doesn't mean that there will be no shift again. The labor should shift, the federal government should shift. During the Udoji award, the minimum wage, which follows the Udoji award, there were discussions like this, and at the end, a compromise was reached. The same thing with the past labor leaders, Oshomole and the rest, and Sumonu. So this is not the end of the discussion, I believe. And I believe that what the federal government is offering is not tenable, considering the state of the nation's economy now. It's not good. The federal government should come up.
The national chairman of the Labour Party, Julius Abure, is extending an olive branch to the president of the Nigerian Labour Congress, Joe Ajero, asking him to set aside past differences and work together with the party leadership. Abure, who was speaking at his first press conference following the April 3rd fire incidents that almost claimed his life at his Abuja residence, asked Ajero to put grievances aside and support the efforts to rebuild the country. Abure and Ajero had been at loggerheads following several attempts made by the NLC to take control of Labour party structure over claims that Abure was running a one-man show and allegations of financial impropriety. The LP camp had also made a counterclaim that Ajero was desperately seeking to evict the Abure-led National Working Committee with an ulterior motive to use the party as a transactional platform ahead of the 2027 elections. But addressing newsmen at the party secretariat in Abuja, Abure described the NLC president as a friend and brother who he had worked together in the trenches over the years, fighting for the welfare of workers. Tinubu stated this on Wednesday at the State House during a meeting with members of the Supreme Council of Traditional Rulers of Ogoni Rivers State, led by King Samuel Ne Benemene, Thai Kingdom, and paramount ruler of Bite Thai. The president, who was responding to requests presented by the Ogoni leaders at the meeting, stated that the time has come to heal the wounds of the past and prepare for the future of the present and the future generation. This, he said, is part of the healing process for the Ogoni people and the Ogoni cleanup program, which he inherited from previous administration, assuring of his unwavering dedication to freedom for all people and the value of democratic governance. In his remarks, King Ne commended President Tinubu for his numerous achievements within 1 year in office, highlighting the ongoing construction work on the One Junction-Eleme Junction axis of the East-West Road. He informed the president that the Ogoni people are prepared for the commencement of oil and gas production in Ogoni land, which he said has the potential for additional production capacity of 100,000 barrels per day and 120 million cubic feet of gas per day. CBN launches strategy to double foreign remittances. Details in a moment. The Central Bank of Nigeria has activated plans to double foreign currency remittances through formal channels by granting 14 new international money transfer operators approval in principle. The bank's acting director of corporate communications, Mrs. Hakama Sidi Ali, who disclosed this, stated that the initiative will help increase the sustained supply of foreign exchange in the official market by promoting greater competition and innovation among the operators. Sidi Ali said the CBN viewed increasing formal remittance flows one of the major sources of foreign exchange, accounting for over 6% of GDP, as a means of reducing the historical volatility in Nigeria's exchange rate caused by external factors such as fluctuations in foreign investment and oil export proceeds. The CBN governor, Olayemi Kadoso, had recently declared that the Apex Bank set a target to double remittance flows into Nigeria within a year, which he said is easily achievable. The increase in the number of operators is one of the primary actions initiated by the CBN's Remittance Task Force as a collaborative unit pulling together specialists to work closely with the private sector and market operators to facilitate the ease of doing business in the remittance ecosystem in Nigeria. The Nigerian Senate has approved President Bola Tinubu's request to obtain a loan of $500 million to finance the mass metering program of the federal government. The fund was approved for the Bureau of Public Enterprise after considering the Committee on Local and Foreign Debt report presented by the Vice Chairman of the committee, Haruna Manu. The loan is part of the $7.94 billion loan which President Bola Tinubu sought the Senate's approval for on November 1st, 2023, under the 2022-2024 External Borrowing Plan. The Deputy Senate President, Barau Jibril, who presided over the plenary, announced the approval after a majority of the lawmakers supported it through a voice vote. 23 months after suspending operations in Nigeria, Emirates Airlines has indicated its readiness to return direct flight services from its base in Dubai to the country. The airline, the statement issued on Thursday by its media consultants in Nigeria, said that it would resume flight services from October 1st, 2024. The airline had in November 2022 suspended flight operations to Nigeria over its failure to repatriate the $85 million revenue trapped in the country. The suspension was the second time the airline halted flights to the country over its unrepatriated funds after an earlier action in August of 2022. The airline said it will resume with a daily service between Lagos and Dubai, thereby offering customers more choice and connectivity from the two cities. Dominican ex-President Leonel Fernandez seeks fourth term in elections. Details in a moment. Russian President Vladimir Putin said on Thursday at a news conference in Beijing with Chinese leader Xi Jinping that the two countries would deepen nuclear energy cooperation. Putin said the Russian state-run company Rosatom was building power units of Russian design on the territory of the People's Republic of China at the Taiwan nuclear power plant and the Zhudapu nuclear power plant. The Russian president said their commissioning will make a significant contribution to the energy supply of the Chinese economy and will help supply Chinese enterprises and households with inexpensive and clean energy. Putin also told journalists of a joint Russo-Chinese experimental nuclear facility, the NICA Accelerator Complex, being built with the assistance of Chinese partners in the town of Dubna near Moscow on the basis of the Joint Institute for Nuclear Research. Experiments and tests at the corridor, he said, will make it possible to implement breakthrough mega science projects that are beyond the reach of any country in the world alone. The incoming Dutch government, led by nationalist Geert Wilders' PVV party, will look to opt out of European Union migration rules, setting up a clash with Brussels even before it has taken office. Wilders on Wednesday reached a deal to form a coalition with three right-wing partners almost 6 months after a major election victory, but he has ruled himself out of the top job and is yet to propose his choice for Prime Minister. In its government plans published early on Thursday, the four-party coalition said it will aim to be strictest ever asylum regime with stronger border controls and harsher rules for asylum seekers who arrive in the Netherlands. The Netherlands would join Hungary and Poland's former nationalist government in challenging EU migration policy, which will likely be met with pushback from Brussels. EU countries have already agreed on their migration pact, and opt-outs are usually discussed in the negotiating phase. France hopes to regain full control of events in New Caledonia in the incoming hours after a third night of riots that have killed 4 people amid anger over a contested electoral reform. Authorities say rioters have burned businesses, torched cars, and looted shops, and that road barricades put up by protesters were causing a dire situation for access to medicine and food in the French-ruled Pacific island. France declared a state of emergency in New Caledonia that came into force at 5 a.m. on Wednesday and went on to put at least 10 people under house arrest and ban TikTok. Rioting erupted over a new bill adopted by lawmakers in Paris on Tuesday that will let French residents who have lived in New Caledonia for 10 years to vote in provincial elections, a move some local leaders fear will dilute the indigenous Kanak votes. Electoral reform is the latest flashpoint in the decades-long tussle over France's role in the mineral-rich southwest Pacific island, which lies some 1,500 kilometers east of Australia. French President Emmanuel Macron's government has come under harsh criticism from the opposition and past prime ministers who say they should not have pressed ahead with the reform. Leonel Fernandez, 3 times president of the Dominican Republic, intends to win the presidency of the Caribbean country for the 4th time in the elections on Sunday, May 19th. Fernandez is a 70-year-old veteran politician and doctor of law who was president of the country 3 times for the Dominican Liberation Party, PLD, from 1996 to 2000, 2004 to 2008, and 2008 to 2012. For Sunday's elections, Fernandez is running with the backing of the Fuerza del Pueblo Party, People's Power Party, which he founded. During his presidential terms, Fernandez promoted the modernization of public services and infrastructure development and pushed through a highly questionable privatization of dozens of state enterprises. The former president, who is one of the most experienced candidates in the race, is vying for the presidency alongside the current Dominican president, Luis Abinader, who is seeking re-election, and the local mayor, Abel Martinez. A Horizon Research pollstar report shows Abinader leads the presidential race with 48.9%, Fernandez with 32%, and Martinez in third with 16%. 90-year-old Italian woman sets record in sprints. Details and more in a moment. Do stay with us. As the oldest country in the European Union, where 1 in 4 aged 65, it's little surprise that Italy is home to the world's fastest 90-year-old woman sprinter. Emma Maria Mazenga claimed another world record in her age group this month when she ran the 200 meters outdoors in 51.47 seconds. Born on August 1st, 1933, Mazenga is one of the unsung stars of Italian athletics, currently holding 5 world records, 9 European records, and 28 best Italian performances in various categories of masters sprinting. Like any athlete, Mazenga follows precise rituals for her races. She runs strictly without socks and never wears the same shoes for training. She also likes to enjoy a beer with fellow runners to celebrate her successes, even though she usually has no direct rivals in her category. Her running career as a masters athlete, which she kicked off at the age of 53, has been an important comfort for Mazenga's later years. Her next commitments include the Italian Championship starting in June, and she has an eye on the World Championships in Sweden next year. But Mazenga joked that she prefers not to make long-term plans. Controversial singer Habib Okikiola, popularly known as Portable, has shared a snippet of his yet-to-be-released song Spider-Man hours after his release from police custody. The Zazu hitmaker on Thursday shared a diss track in response to his arrest for defaulting on the payment plan for his G-Wagon SUV. Recall that Portable was spotted in a viral video on Tuesday where he was scaling over a gate in order to evade arrest. Following the act, the singer released a song that resonated to his flying power. Portable regained his freedom after meeting the bail conditions set for his release, which is not his first encounter with the authorities. Recall that in March 2023, the Ogun State Police Command arrested the famous singer for cursing and manhandling some men of the Nigerian police force in 2 video clips that went viral. And that's the news this hour. I'm Charles Pius. Thanks for watching.